Let's go to Ruth, chapter 1, verse 1 till 20. Now it came to pass in the days when the judges ruled, that there was a famine in the land, and a certain man of Bethlehem, Judah, went to sojourn in the country of Moab, he, and his wife, and his 2 sons. And the name of the man was Elimelech, and the name of his wife Naomi, and the name of his 2 sons Mahlon and Chilion, Afritites of Bethlehem, Judah, and he came into the country of Moab, and continued there. And Elimelech, Naomi's husband, died, and she was left and her 2 sons. And they took them wives of the women of Moab. The name of the one was Oprah, and the name of the other was Ruth, and they dwelt there about 10 years. And Mahlon and Chilion died also, both of them, and the one was left of her 2 sons and her husband. Then she arose with her daughters-in-law, that she might return from the country of Moab, for she had heard in the country of Moab how that the Lord had visited his people and gave them bread. Wherefore she went forth out of the place where she was, and her 2 daughters-in-law with her, and they went on the way to return to the land of Judah. And Naomi said unto her 2 daughters-in-law, Go, return each to her mother's house. The Lord deal kindly with you, and as ye have dealt with the dead, and with me. The Lord grant you that ye may find rest, each of you in the house of her husband. Then she kissed them, and they lifted up their voice, and wept. And they said unto her, Surely we will return with thee unto thy people. And Naomi said, Turn again, my daughters, why will you go with me? Are there yet any more sons in my womb, that they may be your husbands? Turn again, my daughters, go your way, for I am too old to have an husband. If I should say, I have hope, if I should have an husband also tonight, and should also bear sons, would you tarry for them till they were grown? Would you stay for them from having husbands? Nay, my daughters, for it grieveth me much for your sakes, that hand of the Lord is gone out against me. Whoa, whoa, whoa. That's a very strong statement we're over here. Okay, let's continue reading. And they lifted up their voice and wept again, and Oprah kissed her mother-in-law, but Ruth clave unto her. So one woman left the other state. And she said, Behold, thy sister-in-law is gone back unto her people and to her gods. Return thou after thy sister-in-law. And Ruth said, Entreat me not to leave thee, or to return from following after thee. For whither thou goest, I will go, and where thou lodgest, I will lodge. Thy people shall be my people, and thy God be my God. Where thou diest, will I die, and there will I be buried. The Lord do so to me, and more so, if aught but that part thee and me. When she saw that she was steadfast-minded to go with her, then she left, speaking unto her. So when they went until they came to Bethlehem, and it came to pass, when they were come to Bethlehem, that all the city was moved about them. And he said, Is this Naomi? And he said unto them, Call me not Naomi, call me Mara, for the Almighty had dealt very bitterly with me. First explain the context of this history. These were the 13 tribes of Israel. The tribe of Levi didn't have their own land. But these were the 12 tribes, the 13 tribes that had the land, after they left Egypt and settled in the promised land. Judah was the biggest tribe, as you can see over here. Simeon was locked into the territory of Judah. And at the time, you had judges, who were people anointed by the Holy Spirit, that the Most High rose up to lead the confederacy of the Israelites. They had no central government, they had no king, and they didn't even have a military. Now, there were fighters that rose up together with the judges, but those were only when it was needed. Those were only there it was needed. The other nations around, or ethnicities, had kings. Aram, or you can call Syria over here, Ammon, Moab, Edom. When you look at this map, the confederacy of the Israelites bordered the land of Egypt, it bordered Syria, and it bordered those smaller, I would say, countries over here, even though they weren't really countries, just territories of the ethnicities living over there. And this region is quite fertile. for agriculture. But there was a moment that there was a famine. And the famine lasted for a while. How can a region that's fertile like this, at the Mediterranean, how can it suffer famine for years? Now, such things can be caused by paranormal contention. And remember, the Israelites were rich. They had cash. They were a wealthy people. Of course, there were some poor amongst them, but they were a wealthy people. And the nation around them couldn't stand them having all that wealth that the Most High blessed them with. So there was often assaults on the Israelites by the neighboring nations who did not follow the Most High. Now look, there was a famine. The husband and his wife, the wife's Naomi, and their children, they go to Moab. Hold on a minute, why are they going to Moab? Why didn't they went to the Levites? They were from Ephraim. Okay? So ask yourself, why did they go to Moab? The Moabites did not serve the Most High. They served Babylonian and Egyptian deities. Why did they go to them? The husband went there and he died. The wife, the widow, arranged wives for her sons, but within 10 years, the sons died also. So, was it a good idea to go to Moab to begin with? Obviously not. And it's after her husband and her sons died that she heard that the situation concerning the family was resolved. So this Naomi returned back to her homeland, in this case to the tribe of Ephraim, and the people ask, is this Naomi? And, well, she said, don't call me Naomi, because the Most High did treat me, the Most High did me dirty. I'm paraphrasing, but this is what she said, so call me Mara. Did the Most High do her dirty? No. What happened was that she had a faulty perception. Her husband, when he was alive, also had a faulty perception. They looked at the circumstances, and there's nothing wrong with examining circumstances, okay? That's practical, but they did not consult the Most High. They did what appeared to be best according to their own knowledge. So they left the Israelite Confederacy, which was ruled by the Most High directly. Remember, they didn't have any king nor any central government, yet judges appointed by the Holy Spirit, and those judges led fighters to defend the people. So they left the rule of the Most High, and they went to the deities of pagans for assistance. And what happened? Things were well for them over there, but the demons came to collect. Her husband died, and also the sons died. Isn't it interesting that here Naomi mentioned that her daughter-in-law should return back to their homeland and serve their gods over there? So she was aware that the people of Moab did not serve the Most High. That is, serve their own gods. And she must have known, don't assume the people back then were so illiterate, they should have known that those other gods are demons. Filthy entities. Why did her and her husband seek assistance from demons? And here's the thing. This shows you, when demons give you something, they will always come to collect. And when they come to collect, they will come to take something far better away from you. Naomi lost both her husband and her 2 sons. She became bitter. Was it her fault that all those bad stuff happened to her? She didn't control the situation that her husband died nor that her sons died. She didn't want that. She didn't ask for it, okay? Nevertheless, her lack of understanding caused her to make a fatal decision. Not only her, but her and her husband, to go to Moab. They should have sought the Most High's face directly. I'm not pointing the finger at Naomi over here, but look at this. She's still right on her own understanding. And according to her own understanding, those bad things happened to her because the Most High has something against her. No. First of all, the Israelites were under attack by the neighboring nations. So Moab was an enemy of the Israelites. Why they went to the enemy's camp for help? Come on. Now, there are times believers, without them realizing it themselves, because this is how they were conditioned by the world, they go onto the pagan gods, onto false prophets for assistance, instead of casting all their cares upon the Most High and entrusting themselves onto His care. And what happened in this history was that it worked out, but the outworking only lasted briefly. Because it's written here, they came to the country of Moab and continued there. So it wasn't as if they arrived there and suddenly the husband died. No, they arrived there and they lived over there. Things worked out. But on the long term, it went against them. And look at this. Oprah, one of her daughters-in-law, who was also a widow now, wanted relief. So she just returned to how things used to be. But Ruth, who looked at the bigger picture, realized, hold on a minute. I married my husband, who is the son of this woman, and, well, bad stuff happened to them. But things are not going well with the people of God. So by the Israelites, things are going well now. And Ruth realized, hold on a minute. This woman goes back to the Israelites. The Lord is there. I want to be where the Lord is. And she belongs to people, so I want to be near her. Ruth did not want to go back to the status quo. She wanted deliverance. Oprah wanted relief. So when she received the option of going back to how things were, worshipping pagan gods, being stuck in cycles and patterns and all of that, she opted for it. Ruth, who examined the situation, realized, hold on a minute. I don't want this. I want better. The death of her husband opened her eyes. That relying on pagan gods was not the thing to do. And Ruth also realized that Naomi herself did not rely on the Most High either. But she was willing to return to her people. Nevertheless, her wrong perception caused her to think that the Most High had something against her, that the Most High was after her to get her. And what I'm saying here is that this wrong perception is what Satan uses today on many believers. Look, I've given you the context of this history so you can understand what was going on. Learn from this. Always rely on the Most High directly. There's nothing wrong with examining circumstances, but always be Christ-centered. Because demons will assist you, but only to ruin you and destroy you in the long run. They will always come to collect. Even in the world amongst unbelievers, people know this. And above all, when things go wrong, don't be self-centered and think that you may have done something wrong, therefore you deserve it and all that. No. Look at the bigger picture. Look at the bigger picture and act in line with what the best. And the best thing is to be Christ-centered and to rely on Him. Well, that's it for now. Keep agreeing with Christ and be at peace.